Hello, welcome back to Cami Designs. And today we're going to be working on the heel flap of this sock. Now I'm making a shorter sock, and it's completely up to you if you want to make it longer, the longer leg cuff part. But I decided I was only going to do about a 3-inch cuff underneath the rib here. So it should be a total of about 4 inches. And it is. Okay, so to do the heel flap, you want to knit half of your stitches onto a stitch holder, or you're going to knit them and then slide them onto something to hold your stitches, because you will not be working with half your stitches. So there are a couple options to do that. You can either use a piece of thread, just weave it through your stitches, and then this extra thread will hold it. And if you do that, you want to use a thread that is not in your yarn. So like this, I chose dark blue because it's not in my pattern. Another thing you can slide your stitches on is a stitch holder like this. And this is probably what I will use. And you can get these in different sizes. I have a few of them scattered around here. I think I have some other sizes here. Yeah, I've got different sizes. They come in different colors. And they all tend to be the same size as a round. So they are all usually about a US 1. So keep that in mind. Another thing you can do is just stitch them all onto one double pointed needle and then just put ends on them. And you'll want ends that are pretty secure because it's going to be a lot of stitches, so you don't want these ends falling off. But I just plan to put them onto a stitch holder like this. So what I'm going to first do is I can either try to knit them right onto this, but then it's not going to have a way to come off. So first I want to, just out of habit, I'm going to keep this here. And I'm going to just knit them first on my needle, and then I'll try to slide them over. Because another thing is, if you were to try to knit right onto them, this is going to be a little awkward trying to hold this and knit onto it. So let me slide this one forward here. Get my yarn go on the right side here. I tend to knit mine pretty tight. That's just because I'm afraid I'm going to lose stitches. And then I just control that by my tension. And so this one I'm going to transfer 32 stitches, I think. Let me look at my notes here. I have some notes I have going on here. This is what we'll be doing. But let's see here. I think I need to transfer, 32 stitches onto the stitch holder. And then I'm going to be working the other 32 stitches in rows. So, prop this back up so I can read it. Okay. And these I have even amount of stitches on each double pointed needle, so I know I just need to take them off of 2 needles. Okay. Okay. So that one there is ready to go onto my stitch marker, my stitch holder. So I'll just do that right now. And by doing that, I'm just going to take them off purlwise. Maybe. Here. I'm just sliding them off, just like I would purl, but I'm just slipping them onto this stitch holder. Okay. Yep, there we go. Okay. So there's my first set on there. I'm just going to leave it open for now. And now that I have some on there, I'm going to try to just knit them right on there. Because they are roughly the same size as the needles I'm working with. And oops, I got my needle hooked in there. And it's not too difficult. It might be a little more difficult if you were doing cables or something like that into your sock pattern, but because this is just a basic sock pattern, it's not too bad. Almost done. Okay. 2 stitches to go. There. There is all my stitches onto my stitch holder. I just want to close that, and that is done. You could put it on a cable if you have like interchangeable needles, or a circular needle. You could always put them on this and just let it hang there. But that seems to work okay for me. Now, I'm starting here now. And now to work these, you're going to work in rows. So, you can either put it all on one needle, which I probably will do because it's easier, or you can keep it on the 2 needles. It's up to you. But remember, it's going to be a lot of stitches on one needle. It's going to take up almost the whole thing. So if you're worried about dropping stitches, you know, put a stitch marker on the end. Okay, so I want to start by, I'm going to do the heel flap. So my heel flap is going to go, for 1, knit 1, then I'm going to slip 1 with the yarn to the back, then knit 1, and then I'm going to repeat just between these 2 asterisks. So slip 1 with the yarn to the back, knit 1, all the way to the end. Then the next row I will purl. And I'm going to do that, repeat these each 16 times, which is a total of 32 rows. Now, if I'm worried about possibly messing up, if I am new to this or might not be able to count, you know, the rows perfectly, you can always feed yarn through like I've done in a previous video. I'll show you that real fast. like this. So if I do have to, for some reason, take it out, I can just rip it to that point. And I'll do that usually on most socks that I do, just because if I get distracted and I mess up, I don't have to take the whole thing apart. And I'll move this thread up as I go farther in the sock. So I'm just going to, let's see here. I'm going to feed this through as I work these stitches. So I'm just going to put it through. Here, I'll just do one stitch first. Okay. And so I want to knit this first one, and I want to make sure not to go through this thread here. Okay. Oops, here. Go. I'm getting all kinds of stuff tangled here. So my pattern says to knit one. Then I'm going to feed this into a few of them now. And you don't have to do this. If I can get it in there. It's pretty tight. See that I'm just feeding it through a few of them. Okay, so now I'm going to keep my yarn to the back of my work here, and I'm just going to slip this purlwise. So I'm going in from the front and slipping it. Then I'm going to knit here. And I'm going to slip this one purlwise. I'm just going to keep doing that. Oops, my thread came off my needle here. Okay. And this last one, pick up my regular yarn here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of this holding thread. And just pull it. There we go. Now, I slipped the last one, so I know I'm going to knit this one here. Knit, slip purlwise, then I'm going to knit. And I'm being sure not to knit this thread here. I apologize, my thread is all kinds of getting tangled here. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do, so you get the idea, but we'll just move on to this. So I knit that last one, now I want to, yes, I knit the last one, so I want to slip, and then knit, then slip, then knit, and slip, and then knit, and slip, and then slip this one here. And then I'm just going to go onto this one here. Make sure that the back part is folded down. So now I need to knit. And then I'm going to slip and knit and slip and then knit. And it's going to feel tight at first because you are also working against this thing here. The farther up it gets, it's a lot easier to work. So slip, knit, slip, and knit. And I do say this to myself when I'm doing it. It's not just for the video. But as you've seen, I just looked to the back to see if I've knitted it or slipped it. Because you'll have these little dashes here over the slipped ones. And I knit the last one, so slip, knit, and then I'm just going to slip this one here. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it like I would if I'm working on straight needles, which I technically am now because I'm not working the round. Now I'm just going to go ahead and purl all these. I'm not slipping any of these stitches, I'm just purling all of them. Oops, that yarn messed up here. I went through the yarn instead of had it wrap around. So I'm just purling all of these. And then I want to repeat these rows 16 times. And how I keep, there's different ways to keep track. There is a piece of paper and a pencil, and if I write them, if I'm doing tallies, I want to know, I leave myself a note. Odd rows are knit, slip, and my even rows are purl. So if for some reason I'm way ahead, I'm down, I'm not sure if my count's correct, I can look to see if my tallies match up with what I'm on. And by tallies, I mean just marking it like that. And you can also use one of these where you just change it for each row. Or you can count these in sets. So every time you finish a purl, which is a row 2, you could then do it. So you only have to have it to go up to 16. Or you can use something like this. This is just a row counter. And you can use the side things to change it. Or just click the top. They have different row counters. You can get them in rings. It just depends on what you have. If you don't have any of that stuff, a piece of paper and a pencil works just fine. In this sense, I have all these other things, but I tend to use paper and pencil the most. So once again, I'll show you the pattern. You want to do this pattern, just these 2 rows, a total of 32, so you have a total of 32 rows, but you're only repeating this one 16 times and this one 16 times. And then here is the abbreviation, and also the note, you always slip the stitch purlwise, unless your pattern calls for you to do otherwise. So, I'll leave this like this for a little bit, so if anybody's following along, you can kind of pause the video and see or write it down. And I think that's it. I will try to get my sock worked up to the next point, and we'll be doing the heel turn, which actually I enjoy doing. It does look a little complicated, but it's not. And so I just want to let you know to have a great day. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to be notified when the next videos come out, please make sure to hit the bell in your notifications. And please, please, please subscribe. If you like these videos, I just ask that you subscribe. And have yourself a good day. Thanks. Bye.